Nobody saw this coming. The Philippines is quietly ruling all of Asia. When people talk about Asia's rising giants, the usual suspects steal the spotlight. China, Japan, South Korea. Maybe Singapore or Vietnam if the convo gets spicy. But there's one nation that's flying under the radar, making bold moves in silence. A country the world often underestimates, but shouldn't. The Philippines is quietly rewriting the script, flexing its power in pop culture, tech, economics, and even diplomacy. And the craziest part? Most people haven't even noticed it's happening. Let's stop pretending we don't see what's going on. While the so-called global powers are busy congratulating themselves on innovations their aging populations can't even keep up with, there's a sleeping giant building its empire quietly. And it's not sipping lattes in Tokyo or obsessing over AI ethics in Seoul. It's the Philippines, powered by a young, tireless, absurdly talented army that the world keeps sleeping on. Over 110 million people. Median age? 25. That's not a statistic. That's jet fuel. That's millions of kids raised on TikTok and trauma, Wi-Fi and Western sitcoms, fluent in memes and English, ready to outwork, outwit, and outlast every comfortable boomer CEO who still thinks outsourcing is just about answering phones. No, Karen, they're not just call center agents anymore. We're talking financial analysts who can run rings around your MBA interns, IT professionals fixing your systems before your local guy even knows it's broken, healthcare VAs who sound more American than your cousin from Ohio, and digital specialists editing your YouTube content while you're still trying to figure out how to export a MOV file. And here's what pisses me off. The West knows it. Australia knows it. Europe knows it. They all know it. They're not outsourcing to save money anymore. They're outsourcing because Filipinos are just better at talking to people. Yup, I said it. Have you ever tried getting a refund from an American customer service line lately? Good luck. You'll be rage screaming at a robot while a Filipino rep somewhere in Manila is calmly walking another irate customer off a ledge, all while using perfect English and throwing in a joke about Netflix. Now that's talent. But it doesn't stop there. There's a new wave rising, the remote rebels. The laptop warriors. The online assassins. We're talking freelancers, VAs, editors, designers, podcast managers, you name it, building six-figure businesses from 12-inch screens in cafes with $1 iced coffee. These folks aren't clocking in, they're clocking dominance. And they're not begging for opportunities, they're creating them. You think some Ivy League grad with 3 internships and a LinkedIn addiction can compete with a 24-year-old Filipino editor who just did MrBeast's video for 1/10 the cost and 2x the energy? Please. You want relatable? Here's relatable. Half the Western world is drowning in student debt, stuck in jobs they hate, and getting replaced by AI. Meanwhile, some kid in Davao is editing viral clips, closing clients on Upwork, and sending his mom money every week, and still has time to post thirst traps with motivational quotes on Instagram. Tell me again who's winning? The Philippines isn't catching up, it's lapping the field. Quietly. Efficiently. Relentlessly. So yeah, keep underestimating them. Keep thinking it's just about accents and cheap labor. While you're busy sleeping, the Filipino workforce is building the digital spine of the modern world. 1 gig, 1 edit, 1 client at a time. Wake up. Because they already did. Let's be real. You ever scroll through your feed, see another K-pop dance cover, and think, is this still happening? Yeah, me too. We get it. Synchronized hair flips, 13 members, 2 with actual lines, and a fanbase ready to cancel your unborn children if you blink wrong. But here's the thing nobody's talking about. Something's shifting. You feel it too, don't you? There's this weird new flavor sneaking into your algorithm. A little less polished, a little more what the heck did I just watch? But you didn't scroll away. You laughed. You clicked again. That wasn't K-pop. That was P-pop. Filipino pop groups like SB19, Bini, and Alamat are out here building a genre with no cheat codes, no billion-dollar machine behind them, just raw talent, brutal grind, and a fanbase that fights harder than your internet during a storm. And they're not mimicking K-pop, they're Filipinoizing it. That's right. They took the formula and flipped it, same energy, but with jeepney aesthetics and lyrics your nene would hum while frying lumpia. Now here's the kicker, they're getting real international traction. We're talking Korea to California. And not out of pity, because it slaps. And while we're at it, let's talk food. Filipino cuisine used to be that awkward kid at the cafeteria table. You knew it was good, but nobody wanted to trade lunches. Now, adobo is headlining food festivals. Lechon is in Tokyo. Halo Halo has Koreans posting taste test videos like they just found the holy grail. The flavors didn't change, the world's taste finally caught up. But here's what stings, the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Filipino culture has been good for decades. We just never shoved it down anyone's throat. No flashy campaigns. No billion-dollar culture export strategies. Just real stuff, made by real people, for the love of it. And guess what? That's why it's working. We're not trying to be trendy, we are the trend. Fashion? Filipinos been styling thrift like couture since forever. Films? Winning international awards without needing Marvel budgets. TikTok? It's a Filipino party and you're just lucky to be invited. You think that weird, chaotic, hilarious video that made you laugh until you questioned your existence just came from nowhere? Nope. That's homegrown Filipino humor, sarcastic, smart, and too real. You ever wonder why Filipino jokes hit different? Because they come from pain. From blackouts during Zoom calls. From eating tuyo in a house with zero ventilation. From pretending to be okay in a group chat while your mom just asked why you're still single at 30. It's not forced. It's not sanitized. It's real. And that makes it dangerous. The kind of cultural wave that doesn't ask permission to hit, it just does. So here's your uncomfortable truth. Asia's culture war is on. And while everyone else is playing chess, the Philippines is that quiet guy at the corner table, building a flamethrower. No press. No noise. Just results. And if you're still thinking Filipino influence is some niche thing, you're already behind. Because while you were debating if P-pop is legit, the next global sound, flavor, and viral trend was already born, in a 28 square meter apartment in Quezon City. So keep watching. Or don't. Either way, the wave is coming. Alright. Let's cut the crap. You say the word vacation, and people lose their minds over Bali, Phuket, Maldives. Like there's a travel influencer contract requiring them to worship the same 5 spots until the earth falls into the sun. But here's a thought, you're sleeping on the Philippines. Hard. You know what's wild? There are over 7,600 islands. Yes, 7,600 in this country, and somehow y'all still think it's just Manila traffic and lumpia. Meanwhile, Chad from Ohio is on his 4th trip to Bali, getting scammed by a monkey and calling it spiritual awakening. Let's talk real for a second. Siargao looks like God sneezed perfection onto the earth. Palawan? Literal postcard. El Nido? Makes Santorini look like a rundown fish market. But it's not just the views. It's the vibe. See, the Philippines is one of the last places where tourism hasn't turned into a Disneyland with sunscreen. Locals aren't trying to hustle you for tips every 5 seconds. They're trying to feed you, dance with you, invite you to their cousin's wedding, on the spot. That's not hospitality. That's humanity. And guess what? It's addicting. But here's the part that makes me furious. Nobody talks about it. The country has been right here the whole time, serving better beaches than Thailand, with less chaos than Bali, and food that'll make you question your whole life. And yet, Western travel media acts like it's some exotic mystery only Indiana Jones could find. Why? Because it's not over-commercialized. It's not loud. It doesn't slap a tourist tax on your forehead the moment you land. It's just real. And people don't know what to do with real anymore. Oh, but the infrastructure isn't perfect. Yeah? Neither is your Wi-Fi, Karen, and you still manage to send 56 Instagram stories from Tulum. The Philippines is upgrading. Airports, roads, ports. It's slower, sure. But it's happening. And when it does, you'll wish you got there before everyone else ruined it. Tourism here isn't a circus. It's a connection. It's strangers becoming friends over grilled fish at sunset. It's island hopping with people who actually want you to enjoy yourself, not milk your wallet like a stressed-out ATM. You leave feeling seen, not sold to. Here's the kicker. The world is catching on. Slowly. But it is. Digital nomads are creeping in. Backpackers are whispering about it in hostel kitchens like it's some secret underground rave. Luxury resorts are starting to eye the market. And when that wave hits, it won't stop. So go ahead. Keep following the crowd to overcrowded, overpriced beach traps where your view is 40 other tourists trying to get the same selfie. But remember this, while the world flocks to where everyone already is, the Philippines is where everyone should have gone first. It's not sleeping. It's simmering. And when it explodes, you'll be the guy who says, I should have gone before it got popular. Too bad, Chad. Let's not dance around it. The Philippines' most powerful export isn't mangoes, jeepneys, or Manny Pacquiao's left hook. It's people. Millions of Filipinos, over 10 million, are scattered across the globe like emotional confetti, working jobs no one else wants to admit they need. Nurses, seafarers, engineers, caregivers, welders, IT wizards, you name it. They're out there, keeping the world from collapsing while the rest of us complain about gas prices. But here's what nobody wants to say out loud. These people are holding the Philippine economy together. Literally. They're not just working abroad. They're propping up the entire nation with $36 billion in remittances last year. 36 billion. That's more than some countries' GDPs, and we act like it's just padala money for Jollibee. Nah. That's infrastructure money. That's school fees. That's medical bills. That's your auntie's new sorry store. And somehow these heroes, because that's what they are treated like a footnote in every conversation about the country's success. You want to talk about soft power? Forget embassy dinners and Instagrammable presidents. Filipino overseas workers are the diplomacy. They're the reason people around the world associate Filipinos with kindness, competence, and grit instead of, whatever garbage stereotypes used to float around. And they're not quiet anymore. No more playing humble in the corner while Karen in California thinks she discovered chicken adobo on Pinterest. Filipinos abroad are speaking up, and loud. They're posting, vlogging, writing books, starting brands, building multi-million-dollar businesses from abroad and sending both clout and cash back home. They're creating culture, not just following it. They're getting quoted in international media, not just called to fix someone's printer. This is not accidental. This is earned. Because while other nations export products, the Philippines exports reliability, care, work ethic, and let's be real, a workhorse mentality that half the world can't even fake. But it's not all sunshine and balikbayan boxes. Let's not pretend like being part of the diaspora is some fairy tale. It's hard. It's isolating. Imagine being thousands of miles from your family, wiping strangers' butts, sending money you never get to enjoy yourself, and still being expected to smile through it. And you know what's even worse? Some folks back home treat them like walking ATMs. Oh, your cousins in Canada? Ask for a PS5. Seriously? Respect the grind. These people are sacrificing birthdays, funerals, and sanity so a family can eat, and that should earn them a statue, not a guilt trip. So here's the truth. The diaspora is not a backup plan. It's the blueprint. They're changing global perception, brick by brick, one 14-hour shift at a time, and they don't need applause. But maybe, just maybe, they deserve more than silence. You want a Filipino global superpower? It already exists. You just haven't been paying attention. And by the time the rest of the world wakes up, these invisible workers will have already written the new narrative, in cash, character, and cultural impact. No army. No PR firm. No cap. Just 10 million quiet legends making the impossible look easy. You ever scroll through TikTok and see some Filipino kid lip-syncing in a tiny barangay in Pampanga, with a ring light made out of a hanger, and somehow they've got 200,000 followers? Yeah, me too. And you know what? It doesn't even surprise me anymore. Because let's be real, Filipinos don't just use the internet. They run it. And no, I'm not talking about your aunt posting Jesus memes on Facebook at 5 a.m. I'm talking about Filipinos building entire empires from a cracked Samsung phone and 99 Cuban pesos data load. See, we act shocked when someone from Manila trends on YouTube, but why? We've always been built for this. Entertaining? Check. Witty? Check. Resourceful as hell? Triple check. We've been remixing struggle into strategy since before Instagram filters could hide poverty. But let's sit in something uncomfortable for a second. We were told we had to leave the country to succeed. To be a nurse in New York. A caregiver in Milan. A janitor in Dubai. And while that hustle is real and respected, there's now a generation saying, what if I didn't need to leave at all? Because here's the slap you in the face stat no one talks about. Over 60 million Filipinos are now using mobile money apps like GCash and Maya, not just to buy load or send pamasahe, but to launch entire businesses from the palm of their hands. Let that sink in. A country once dependent on remittances is now breeding a digital class of entrepreneurs, creators, and marketers, with zero office, no boss, and absolutely no chill. It's not a gig economy anymore. It's a quiet revolution. Happening in sari-sari stores, inside tricycles parked on the side of dusty roads, under leaking roofs, where someone is uploading a product catalog to Facebook Marketplace between brownouts. They're not waiting for government help. They're not crying about lack of capital. They're building shit anyway, out of grit, scraps, and pure wala nong choice energy. And that's the part nobody wants to admit. We got tired of waiting for change. So we became the change, with Canva, Payoneer, and a prepaid SIM. You ever wonder why some of the funniest, most charismatic, most magnetic content creators are Filipino? Because we've been performing our whole lives, for bosses, for OFW remittance, for society's approval. Now, we're just finally getting paid for it. And here's the kicker. The rest of the world is starting to copy us. They're watching how we edit, how we engage, how we storytell, then pretending it was their idea. But here's what they can't replicate. That sweet spot where poverty meets punchlines, and struggle becomes strategy. Where someone with no degree, no funding, and no connections makes 300,000 pesos per month teaching Koreans how to sing like Morissette. That's not hustle. That's alchemy. So yeah, maybe the world still sleeps on the Philippines. But guess what? We're awake. Online. And building. And the next digital billionaires? They're probably barefoot, sipping instant coffee, creating viral content from a bamboo table somewhere in Camiguin. Now tell me again who's developing. Let's quit pretending. The Philippines isn't just another archipelago. It's the freaking keystone of the Pacific. And guess what? For decades, everyone treated it like the sidekick in a Marvel movie. Adorable, disposable, and absolutely forgettable. But not anymore. Because you know what happens when the sea gets tense, and China starts puffing its chest in the South China Sea like it's flexing at Planet Fitness? Suddenly, every global power wants to be the Philippines' BFF. Oh, now you want to hang out? Now you want to talk defense deals, military bases, friendship bracelets? Let me break it down for you with a metaphor so simple even a diplomat can get it. The Philippines is the kid in the group project who holds the USB. Not the loudest. Not the richest. Not even the one with good grades. But guess what? No USB equals no project. No Philippines equals no control of one of the most strategic choke points in global trade. Still think this is about adobo and jeepneys? Wake up. We are literally the loading screen of Asia's geopolitical video game. The South China Sea carries a third of the world's shipping traffic, and who's got front row seats and property rights? Us. And if that doesn't make your inner nationalist twitch with pride, it's because you've been too busy doom scrolling to realize we're no longer the pushover in the room. Remember when every foreign power used to treat us like the insecure friend? Always helping us, but never actually listening? They showed up like fake uncles at a fiesta, eat your lechon, nod politely, then bounce. But now? We're signing defense deals faster than a politician promises during election season. We've got Japan throwing us Coast Guard support like it's a yacht club giveaway. The US? Oh, they're back in the chat. Bases. Training. Joint drills. All of it. Why? Because we're finally realizing our value. And not in a pat on the back way, in a you need us more than we need you kind of way. We're the MVP with zero ego. The power player who didn't know he was holding the sword until someone tried to snatch it. And yes, it's quiet. But quiet doesn't mean weak. Quiet means strategic. Calculated. Dangerous in the best possible way. You think diplomacy is boring? Think again. Geopolitics is high-stakes chess, and we just learned how to move the queen. Let the world keep underestimating us, while they fight over who gets to stand beside us. Because while they posture and bark on cable news, we're securing sea routes, drawing red lines, and quietly building alliances stronger than a K-drama fanbase. So next time someone says, the Philippines? Oh, that tiny island country. You tell them, tiny island? Nah. We're the hinge that swings the Pacific. And everyone's knocking. Let's just admit it, everyone wants to talk about the Philippines' rise, like it's some sudden Cinderella story. New economy. Rising GDP. Trending on TikTok. Cute. But no one's talking about the real reason this country refuses to go down. And it ain't because of some flashy app, a new political slogan, or a foreign investor on a helicopter tour. No. The reason is grit, Filipino grit. That try-again gene mixed with equal parts caffeine, trauma, and blind faith. You ever met a country that gets knocked down by a typhoon and still hosts a karaoke party that same night? That's not optimism. That's defiance. That's resilience dipped in adobo and served with a sarcastic smile. We've been colonized, robbed blind, gaslit by our own government, and left hanging in brownouts long enough to charge emotional damage on Meralco bills. But we still show up. Late maybe, but we show up. Here's the part they don't show in documentaries. That kid walking 5 kilometers for Wi-Fi? He's not trying to go viral. He's trying to pass math. That mom selling lumpia on TikTok? She's not influencing. She's paying rent. That barangay patching up potholes with empty rice sacks and holy water? That's not a joke, that's plan A. Because there is no plan B. We're not thriving because of policy. We're surviving in spite of it. Let that sink in. And here's your fast food burger with 5-star flavor fact. According to SWS, over 80% of Filipinos believe their kids will have a better life. That's not data, that's delusion in motion. But it's also power. Because hope? Hope is our national currency. We trade in it when salaries run out. You ever wonder why the loudest voices about Filipino pride are the ones doing all the work overseas, sending money back to a country that can't even fix its roads? I'll tell you why. Because real grit doesn't need a standing ovation. It just needs a reason to keep moving. We're not tired, we're numb. And that's scarier. Because when people are numb, they stop complaining. They stop marching. They stop hoping for change. And just build the damn thing themselves. That's what we're doing. Quietly. Relentlessly. While everyone's still arguing on Twitter about who should be president, we're out here building side hustles from prepaid load and leftover pantsit. Filipino grit isn't loud. It's not aesthetic. It's not clapping for itself in a graduation robe or posting quotes on Instagram. No Filipino grit is wearing flip-flops to a job interview, showing up without the qualifications, and still getting hired because charm, hustle, and survival are baked into our DNA. This is not an overnight success story. This is a decades-long montage of try again tomorrow. So the next time someone asks what makes this country special, don't say beaches. Don't say cheap labor. Say this. We are a nation of people too stubborn to quit and too broke to fail. Because at the end of the day, the X factor isn't our location, or resources, or global allies. It's us. It's always been us. You ever notice how people still treat the Philippines like the underdog in Asia? Like we're just the country with beaches, nurses, and a catchy karaoke culture? Cute, right? But while everyone's been busy looking down, we've been leveling up. Not with tanks. Not with threats. But with TikToks that break the internet, voices that calm nations, and call center agents who run global companies in Sinilas. Let's be real, we're not flexing with fireworks. We're flexing with consistency, Talent that doesn't sleep, grit that doesn't quit, and a vibe so contagious it turns tourists into migrants. You think we're just rising? No. We're reshaping the damn region, quietly, steadily, then all at once. So yeah, Asia's getting a wake-up call. And guess who's holding the megaphone? The same island they thought was just background noise. Now becoming the loudest voice in the room. Hell yes. We're not next. We're now.